But for years the Lanarkshire coalfield was a traditional nursery for great players. Young lads dreamed of playing football to escape the toil of the pits, and one who did was from the village of Carluke, and went on to become one of Hearts' greatest players.
Well, I was brought up in the miners' row, a miners' row, and we used to play, and there were no goalposts. You put off your jersey, I used to get a case ball, and they'd say to me, I was only young at the time, you bring your ball and you get a game with the married men and the single. I was only about 9 years of age, and I used to bring the ball, and I said, right, you bring the ball every time you come and you'll get a game. And it was part and parcel of the toughness, it was the hardness. That was the difference, physical side. I was used to the physical side, which is, a lot of people don't like the physical, and that was my strength. We used to be told, my dad used to say, right, I want you at a certain time, and I didn't actually get, maybe a quarter of an hour late when I opened the door, my dad used to hit me, in the back of the head and a couple of somersaults, and that was part and parcel of discipline. When I went to Hearts, I was playing in 13 with 3 teams in these days, and it only lasted 6 weeks, and I was put into reserves, and it only lasted maybe a fortnight, and I was in the first team. And when I went to Hearts, I was playing as an inside forward. It was my local junior team, Carluke Rovers. And then when I went from there back, it was a lot simpler. The game was actually, you'd a vision, going back to left half.
What are your kind of memories of these days, and how good a team was that Hearts had at that time?
Well, when it happened in the 1956 with the Scottish, the cup, that, we believed in ourselves, we had a great team, and we gelled together, plus there was a love of the game. After you've been in the pits, things like that, you're saying to yourself, well, I'm not going back, and it was part and parcel of you wanted to be a professional footballer, and it's a thing that I had achieved, and I was glad that the way things went.
And it's Hearts goalkeeper Gordon Marshall, white jockey cap, there's the ball downfield to Cummings.
A lot of injuries in the days, you picked us a lot off the ground, it's no like present day football, stoppages, we never had any stoppages, you picked us a lot on with the game, and I felt the referees were very fair, the referees were a bit wit about referees, maybe somebody got you and physically I got him back, but we used to have Big Tiny Wharton, he was one of the referees, and I remember Pelly Beattie playing with Kilmarnock, he went over the ball to me. Actually, when the ball was kicked from the old ball, I'm talking about, the heavy ball, it only went to the half a line and no more, and I was at left half, and then up to head the ball, and he got his soul stick, wasn't it me, because he had actually did that with his head, to head the ball, and he hit me, and he actually, Big Warden come up to me, and this is true, he said, Mr. Cummings, equal, there were no stoppages, everybody was, for me, going over the ball to people and things like that, it was a different game altogether, the game was a man's game, as I call it,
What individual games stand out in your memory as maybe the highlights of your career when you were with Hearts?
Well, we used to go, when we won things now, we were invited in every other country in the world, South Africa, and you name it, America, and all different places. And while I was playing with Hearts, when I was picked to play with Scotland, we used to go to Hungary, and play against teams that were, really first class, the Hungarians were a brilliant team, we were used to, full gates and everything else, 53,000 at Tynecastle, and things like that, which is a big thing to help you as a footballer, and segregation wasn't there then. Everybody was in, and sitting aside to Labour Rangers or Celtic lads. There was no segregation, which helped and all. It's fair, to go to games now, and I'd like to see the young boys actually winning something this year, I had a bit in the newspaper about them, and I feel that these young lads, the way they're playing and doing things, that I'd love them to win something this year, doesn't matter what it is, to give you confidence and believe in yourself, that's what the big thing is.
Well, that's it from the Hearts Club. We are back again next week with all the news from Tynecastle. That's next